Vishishar, namaste, Ramanathan.
Hi Rama, how are you?
I'm good, sir.
That's good to have joined. Rama
Thank
is
you.
one of the faculties with us.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Ramanathan.
Good evening.
Should we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good evening to one and all who have joined in this inaugural session. My name is Kiran Yadav and I am the current Vice President of BMA. On behalf of our President, Mr. Rajesh Sharma, and the BMA team, I am happy to welcome you all for the inaugural session of the third edition of BMA JBIMS Leader Next program. This program is the brainchild of our former president, Chaya Sehgal, who's with us today. Uh, she started this in 2019. It was designed with the intent to prepare young managers for the challenges and opportunities of the evolving business world. This was just before the pandemic. The pandemic, however, demonstrated the relevance of this program in ample abundance. It helped us appreciate the VUCA concept and world every moment without a pause beyond any classroom sessions. Education itself had to modify deliverance. Online process, which were in the pipeline to be launched several years later, had to be rushed and rolled out within weeks and days. We all had to accept, adapt, and implement advanced technology on the fast track to remain relevant and survive. Disruption was the order of the day, and leadership was tested almost at all times. India outshined the world in handling the crisis. Virtues of caring, sharing, empathy, and value of relationship were rediscovered and embraced as never before. The world today is witnessing a compassionate behavior pattern from across various stakeholders. The ensuing Ukraine conflict only further emphasized the need for leadership to constantly evolve and take charge of an ever changing world. Handling extreme abnormal situations and challenges effectively on a regular basis have become the new normal for business leaders. I therefore congratulate all participants who have enrolled for the program on their proactive approach. When it started, the program was in its physical mode. The pandemic put it into an online mode, and now we have this opportunity of a blended physical program as we move forward. The BMA team has worked hard to update and add the most relevant and trending content delivered by global experts in an attempt to provide an enriching experience to the participants. BMA will endure to serve its members with the most relevant updates in management practice and education in all earnestness. I thank all the senior members of BMA, industry leaders, office bearers, members, faculty, and students for joining us today and supporting the BMA efforts. To the participants, thank you for your faith in BMA, welcoming you once again for a mutually gainful learning process. We have with us our chief guest of the day, Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor. But before we go to him, I'm going to request Dr. Kavita Lagate, the former president of BMA and former director of Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, who was also a key element in launching this program along with Chaya ma'am, to acquaint us with the Leader Next program. Over to you, Kavita ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Kiran sir. I hope I am audible. Thank you. So the chief guest for today, Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor, the past presidents, Madam Chaya Sehgal, Professor Mani, all the office bearers of Bombay Management Association. I can see some of the resource persons who will be talking in this Leader Next program, and all the participants who are here today to start with us a journey of leadership. I welcome you all for this inaugural session. I wish it would have been on our BMA office or maybe at JBIMS, but nonetheless, on the digital platform also, we are all together. That is very important, and that is very happy moment for all of us. As mentioned by Kiran sir, we started this program in 2019. And the basis for the program was the recommendations of the World Economic Forum, which has predicted that what will be the skill sets that will be required in the next decade. And it was 2020 which was going to come, and that time we had named it as Leader 2020. We thought that the skill sets that we are looking for will be relevant for over a decade, and we can call it as the 2020 decade. But as the time always takes us on surprise, in 2020 only, we got a shock which we had to come over, and then we had renamed it as Leader Next. I think this Leader Next concept will be there for many, many such sessions. Today we are on the third episode of Leadership Development Program of Bombay Management Association. And we are happy that many of us who had worked on this in 2018 and in 2019, in fact, the then president of Bombay Management Association was Dr. Murtaza Khurakiwala, and in his office, many of us, alumni of JBIMS and members of Bombay Management Association, we had long discussions and long innings of talking about what should be the program, how should we deliver, and what will be the contents. And I can see Guru Raj is here, Vaijayanti, Rishiji, Shripad. Many of us, we had spent evenings and evenings in the Vokha Tower for designing this program. I can see Amitabh Saxena, who is part of our delivery and alumnus of JBIMS. His sessions had been very, very interesting and very eye-opening for the participants. The program is basically divided into three parts. The first one is about the people management. The second one is about the technology. And the third one is about the leadership and the complexity that the leadership is going to face in the future or is facing right now. All these three angles of people management, technology driven, and complexity which is coming because of the VUCA world, we all are getting many times the challenges which need to be seen and handled in a very different way. Today we have with us many leaders, and one of them is Jagdeep Kapoor, who has shown every time that times change, how do you change it? And he has helped organizations to change their destiny. And we are very happy that today, on the inauguration of our third episode of Leadership Development Program of Bombay Management Association, which we are calling it as Leader Next, he himself is here. That is exemplary and is going to give us lot of understanding about this program.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, and you may have seen that it will be divided into 3 sets, but the icing on the cake is about the Leader Speaks series that we generally have for the leadership program. And all the who's who are coming from not only industry, but also from government, who are giving a very different dimension to the leadership and execution paradigm of the whole exercise. I think they also add value to our program. We had in the past many people who have spoken, and you can find them on our YouTube channel of Bombay Management Association. They are all available to listen to you. In fact, we are not offering only Leader Next, the third episode to you, but we are also giving you the supplementary documentary evidences and documentary learning avenues which are available on our Bombay Management Association's YouTube channel. You can see the Leader Speak series where many speakers are there, and you can also learn from whatever has happened in the past. I am sure all the 35 participants who have registered for this program till today will be benefited by the previous episodes of our leadership talks, and also in the classrooms where the digitally we will be having them every week, I think 4.5 hours, which will be giving them many stimulating problems, many stimulating challenges, which will help them in identifying and positioning themselves as the leader for the next times. I'm sure that the complexity of the business environment is going to be a challenge every time. But then such kind of leadership development program will give you the impetus to think and also prepare you for such kind of challenges that are going to come. Very happy that we have this third episode. Only sad part of it is again online, but then you are all welcome to BMA office as well as Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, wherever we can make some efforts to have the sessions which are going to be in physical or digital mode. So thank you very much for joining, and thanks Jagdeep Kapoor for accepting the invitation, and the thanks to Madam Chaya Sehgal for her very great leadership that we have always experienced with her. And this Leader Next series is also no exception to that. So thank you all for joining, and over to you, Kiran sir.
Thank you, Kavita ma'am. May I now request Dr. Srinivas Iyengar, our partner in the Leader Next program and the young dynamic director of JBIMS, to come and share with us his views on the program. You are muted, sir.
So you're on mute actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening to everyone, and it's my pleasure to be there for the August event. And today, if the third program is happening, means the 2 batches already successfully completed. So the credit goes to the entire team of BMA and the existing faculty members, and I wish all the students. And always it's pleasure to hear Jagdeep Kapoor's lectures too, because he is the keynote speaker. Let's give opportunity to listen from him. We always get opportunity to interact with everyone in person. But one thing great about that initiative, I suggest for the BMA, ideally the batch should have the 2 type of admission in the year, because the duration is, in fact, ideally the potential could be 3 batches in a year. So if there are 4 months batch, if we are planning for that, at least we should target our second batch ideally should start in the month of January or February. Because the purpose of both the organization is not money. Because they want to really address the need for the society to build the leadership Also, you are getting a learning opportunity from the industry practitioners and the leading academicians, those who have done a tremendous commendable work in their area. So every organization today, we know the success and failure purely on leadership. Everybody is operating in the same environment. Market is same, almost same segment customers. But you can see one organization extremely profitable, another organization striving to struggle. So the credit goes to the leadership. So that's a great opportunity to learn from industry practices of BMA associates, and absolutely no doubt institute like Jamnalal Bajaj. In fact, I wish to highlight this right moment. We started our more MDP activity last 11 months started to become a director. Today, we could able to address more than 1,000+ industry people are there in Jamnalal Bajaj. We have done more MDP program to different industries. In fact, the response which is coming up, I never expected that. When we floated a program to central bank, now they're requesting before March, can we able to train 1,000+ branch managers? They are all, that means there is a acute shortage, there is a need for the quality leadership, learning from others. I think this type of initiative which BMA and earlier director Lagate ma'am, which they have started with Chaya ma'am, this is a wonderful event. Let make these things happen, and hopefully to see another batch in January, Feb. And even though it is online, we try to see in the campus. As we said, you are always welcome. You are also part of alumni. So those who are attending today's these courses, I wish you all, and glad to welcome you at JBMS. It's our part, and we extend complete support to make this program much more successful. And today, when I was morning interacting with Rishi, I wish if we are getting an overwhelming response, let's keep the batch size only 30, so that we'll keep the admission batch to the next batch, so that we can start yearly 2 events, so that we can able to address the mass media, because we are in a financial capital. That's the right opportunity to interact, and we can able to add value after attending this through this program. If you could add value, even 1%, the success of the program is phenomenal and commendable. So I wish you once again all the best to the entire team for the commendable hard work, and glad to see you at JBMS. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Srinivasan Iyengar. I think two inputs we are very happy to take on board. One is that you want us to do more and have another additional program in the year. That's welcome, I think, and the type of response we are getting, I'm sure we'll be able to do. And secondly, congratulations for the tremendous MDP work that you're doing. And please remember that BMA is always available in case you need some support and help in those programs. And we'll be happy to coordinate and cooperate. Thank you.
Almost half the people we are taking help. We love to take more. Thank you.
Okay. I now have the pleasant task of introducing our keynote speaker, our chief guest of the day, Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor. Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor actually needs no introduction. Okay. I think anyone in the business of business management anywhere in the city or the country would be familiar with this name and the title of brand guru. And one more thing that surprised me was that among this galaxy of BMA stars, how come I have been given the privilege of introducing Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor? And I suddenly realized that there may be a catch to it, because many of my colleagues may not want to take the risk. I'll tell you why. Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor is such a prolific writer, an adroit, astute, and ingenious business leader that he has made n number of prolific statements, okay, which are copyrighted. And by mistake, if accidentally we use one of those phrases, then the IT department is actually trolling you to track his revenue. So I think nobody else wanted to take the risk, but Mr. Kapoor, being a good friend, I think he will make sure that I don't have to face the IT department. if I accidentally use some of your uh, gems of wisdom, sir. Being the founder, chairman, and managing director of Samsika Marketing Consultants Private Limited, which has entered 28 years of existence, is no mean feat for a leading brand strategic marketing consultant. Mr. Kapoor has been a visiting faculty at JBIMS. He has been a visiting faculty in the British Council's Strathclyde MBA program and also the SP Jain Institute. He is one of the most respected advisors when it comes to getting an understanding of how to move to the next step in a company's brand building and management. His articles, 1,000 plus, have appeared in practically every known, renowned magazine or newspaper that you can come across. He's written books, the 24 brand mantras, which is gone into its second edition, translated into Hindi, brand serve, brand namakaran, 18 brand astras, again in both Hindi and English, 9 brand shastras, again translated into Hindi as well. Brand switch, 27 brand practices, brand segmentation, and 1800 runs brand sale khel mein. His brand switch, which was launched in the US, has also been translated in Spanish. Mr. Kapoor has handled hundreds of brands, be it multinational companies, be it Indian companies, from Carrier air conditioners, Otis elevators, Navneet publications, Halls lozenges, Mother Dairy milk products, fruity fruit drinks, Synthol soap, Nirma detergent, Fevicol adhesives, Nutrella soya, Anchor toothpaste, Shuffle frozen peas, Kayam churran, Witchcraft events, FedEx and Blue Dart Express couriers, Baileys mineral water, Natural ice cream, Wellness Forever chemist chain, Zycom securities, Metro shoes, Supermax shaving blades, Jain irrigation foods, CR arms, Ajanta clocks, Welspun spaces, M Seal sealants, Aptec computers, Listerine mouthwash, Garware nylon and sun control, Motilal Oswal financial services, Tetra Pak packaging, Himalayan natural mineral water, Aditya Birla Group, Course office products, Tata Motors, Voltas, Oberoi Reality, Cinemax, Orchid, Dr. Shroff's Eye Clinic, Lubrizol, Eyeball, Rajdhani Restaurants, Tally Accounting Software, Aerofit Fitness Equipment, Godrej, and many, many, many more. He's been the chairman of the Advertising Works Committee for the Advertising Club of Bombay and was also its joint secretary earlier. He's been quoted in Mega Trends, the John Nasbitt's magazine, and interviewed regularly on BBC, Star News, CNBC, NDTV. In fact, he actually hosted his own program called The Dream Merchants on ZTV. He's been a Rotarian, a Paul Harris Fellow, and has been the chairman of the Consumer Affairs Committee of the Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He sits on the student selection panel for both JBIMS and IIM Kolkata. Having conducted over 1,000 plus training programs, trained over 27,000 MBA students, and 31,000 plus Indian managers. He has been awarded the Visionary of India award in 2014-15 in the category of Brand Guru, a Lifetime Achievement Award on the occasion of Teachers' Day from the Higher Education Forum, a Lifetime Achievement Devang Mehta National Education Award in 2016, the prestigious CMO Asian Fellowship for Outstanding Contribution towards building brands, building winning brands. That's the key. And he's also been awarded as the world's best storyteller in February 2016. Jagdeep was also awarded the Kalyan Banerjee Leadership Changemaker Award in 2016 in the presence of Mr. Kalyan Banerjee himself. He has been regularly awarded his company has been regularly awarded the Fair Practices Award at the national level from the Council for Best Fair Practices. Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor encourages MBA students to excel by having an annual award for academic excellence in marketing for the last 10 years for both MMS and BMS students of the University of Mumbai. And the most important fact, on Saraswati Puja, he offers free consultation. I don't want many of you to hear this because there'll be a whole long queue outside his office, okay, to whoever is willing and wants to get his advice. Apart from this, Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor is a great human being, a lovely family, and always available to share his knowledge in the most open and liberal way that you can take it. So, without much ado, I am now going to request Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor to his pearls of wisdom at this inaugural session of the Leader Next, third edition of Leader Next. And I'm sure that it will set the right tone for all the 35 participants who have enrolled to be able to get the best value out of their investment in the program. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor to address us. Over to you, Mr. Kapoor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kiran, for those lovely, kind words. And it's great to have Kiran introduce a close friend. And I'd like to pay my respects to Rajesh ji, to Kiran, to Dr. Srinivas, Mani ji, Dr. Kavita ji, and Chaya ji, and so many people here who are already leaders. So I was wondering as to what is it that I can share in terms of Leader Next or talk about leadership. And then I said, let me go back to basics. So I said, let me go back to the ABCD of leadership. And let me share my experience over 4 decades in various personal and professional ways and lace it with various anecdotes and examples and see if there's something which can emerge in terms of actually mantras which can be used by leaders in this very, very VUCA world, as been mentioned by Kiran and Dr. Kavita. So I'm going to plunge in and begin with that. I'm going to ask my colleague to share the slides. And here I go. Thank you first of all, for your patience for this long but beautiful and kind introduction by Kiran. And I hope you'll have the same patience as I give my talk. Thank you, Kiran. Yes, Kamal, let's begin. So I'm going to begin with the Leader Next talks on leadership. And let me begin with the ABCD. And let me begin with my first slide. Next. You know, Rajesh Sharma ji was saying that I am only going to listen today because of the episode that had happened. And I'm not going to lie that, you know, I got inspired and suddenly I made the slide by magic. It was already prepared. But the first part of leadership that I have experienced, which is most important and very, very useful, is the L of leadership, which is listen. Many a time, and I'm also guilty of that, many a time we like to talk. And we talk a lot. If you see on the slide, not to show off, but you'll see the last two lines are brands built by us since 1980, 1995. So that is also talking. But the first thing I'd like to share with you is we need to listen as leaders. Stop screen. Many a time I'd like to, you know, actually interact and look you in the eye. I know that Zoom etiquette says that when someone is speaking, you need to put your video off. But I break all the etiquettes. तो मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है कि बहुत साल पहले एक ब्रांड मंत्र लिखा था, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है. तो मेरा रिक्वेस्ट है कि आप लोग दिखिए प्लीज, क्योंकि मुंह दिखाई का पैसा तो नहीं देना पड़ेगा ना. हाँ, see, suddenly I've got everyone's response and all the videos are on now. Thank you so much. Because one of the things we have been taught as kids is we need to have eye contact. Then we know that what is being spoken is also being listened to. So let me go back to listen. This is, I think, one of the most important things a leader needs to have. And I'll give you an example. When I was director of Parle, having built brands like Fruity, built brands like Appy Fizz, then came a time wherein I said, we need to build another brand because there is only a monopoly of one brand in mineral water, which is Bisleri. Now, that is our sister concern. It's owned by the other brother. So I remember both the brothers came to my cabin and said, why the hell do you want to build another brand? I said, because there is no external competition. So we'll have to create internal competition. Otherwise, there will be complacency. So I would like to have another mineral water brand from Parle. I've also thought of the name. It's called Bailey. Bailey in North India would be a friend. And Bailey also has an upscale name in the Western world. And that's what I want to start. So both Ramesh Chauhan and Prakash Chauhan, they had this wonderful leadership habit that they would never call any manager to their cabin. They would walk down to the manager's cabin and sit across and chat. So both of them came across and they said, "Kya ye hai? Bisleri hai hamare paas, kyun ek aur banana?" So then I told them that the reason I want to do that is one of the days during lunch when I was walking down the Parle factory, which is at Western Express Highway. So our cabins were on the first floor, only 3 cabins, huge ones, the Chauhans and me. And below was the factory, which is filling Thumbs Up and Limca and Gold Spot and everything. So during lunch, one of the workers came up to me, to my cabin, and he says, मुझे आपसे बात करनी है, in very, very good Marathi. मी पण मुंबईचा माणूस आहे. I'm a Punjabi, but I'm born, bred, educated in Mumbai. So he spoke to me in Marathi and he said, that I've heard that you want to launch this brand Bailey and you're thinking of starting 7 plants in various parts, Mumbai, Delhi, Madras, that time, Chennai, etc., etc. I have a suggestion. I said, yeah, bolo sujhav. He's saying, आप बहुत छूट रहा आपसे, चालगांव में भी जरूरत है, बेलगांव में भी जरूरत है, गुवाहाटी में भी जरूरत है. I said, what? These are small. He says, नहीं, साफ पानी तो मिलता ही नहीं है सब जगह. And I actually listened to him. And then when we launched, we didn't launch 7, we launched 22 plants. And then when the annual function took place, when Bailey became a big brand along with Bisleri, I actually called him and made him the chief guest because actually he was the one who gave the idea of the spread. And I was able to listen to him. Supposing I think many a times I would have told him that नहीं यार आपको कुछ पता नहीं है, हमें पता है कितना potential है, क्या viability है, क्या feasibility है, then I could have missed it out. But over a period of time, I've learned that if someone is telling you something, it is worth listening. And if you feel tempted to interrupt and speak, then maybe just count 1 to 10 in your head, but listen to what he's saying. And in my profession, I charge for consultancy. Here, someone is giving free consultancy. Why the hell will you not listen? So the first thing any good leader should do is sunao, magar usse pehle suno. And you will see that amazing stuff comes out even in difficult times. So my first thing I would say is listening, and suddenly that brand is a huge brand. Even Bisleri has grown, even Bailey has grown. And it all leads to listening to that one worker from the factory who wanted to share something and he had something valuable to share. I could have knocked it off, but listening helped and actually helped in building that business, building the brand to a very, very large extent. The second thing I'd like to share with you in terms of, as I said, I've gone to ABCD, the basics, because what can one share with such great leaders who are here, but your own personal experiences, which actually helped. Next slide, please. The E of leadership, I would say, is energy. Now, you can have 2 types of leaders. Stop screen. One who are lifeless, bejan, and they do it for the sake of doing it. अभी ठीक है, ये करना है, ये टास्क है, ये ड्यूटी है. मगर एक्चुअली हमने देखा है कि जो लीडर सबको साथ लेके चलता है और एक्चुअली कभी सक्सेस होगा, कभी फेलियर होगा, मगर वो लीडर का एक खासियत है, उसमें जोश है. That leader, he or she has got energy. And that energy is expounded and made multifold with either the team that he is leading or she is leading or the idea that is being led. The energy part is an extremely important part because without energy, you may have the best idea. It's very difficult to enthuse anyone. It could be a set of retailers, it could be a set of distributors, it could be a set of salespeople, it could be a set of managers. The important thing is energy. And here also I'd like to give you an example. कभी-कभी हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि दिमाग खोलो. मैं भी बोलता हूँ, दिमाग खोलो, दिमाग खोलोगे तो मार्केट खुलेगा, मार्केट खुलेगा तो आपकी किस्मत खुलेगी. Open your mind is what we say. I must give you an example of one of my clients. He's in the construction business. We've dealt with many of the construction builders. And since I don't take conflict of interest clients, many of them have come one at a time, one for 3 years, one for 5 years, etc. So whether it be a Hiranandani, Niranjan and Surinder, or whether it be a Kanakya, or whether it be a Oberoi reality, or whether it be a Code Rage, or various names, and many a times we've been with them when they start. So one of those clients was not into development, but redevelopment. Redevelopment, all of you know, in Mumbai, many societies, 30 years, 40 years, and they need to be redeveloped because they're almost falling apart. But for that, you need to be able to have the society members give consent, and then you redevelop, and then for some time you are given a separate place to stay or an allowance, and then after 3 or 4 years, you get a splendidly new flat, maybe a bigger flat, etc. So this gentleman, and his name is Anand Modi. He's basically based in Malad. Young fellow, okay. So he was in redevelopment, slowly in that particular area. He handles a company called Modi Spaces. And now what happened, unfortunately, is he got a disease. And the disease led to him losing his entire memory, his brain getting degenerated to such an extent that we say, open your mind. His mind had to be opened physically. That means a part of his head was cut, his brain was removed, was kept refrigerated for a few weeks, and it was redone, and then he was reconfigured. So I tell him, आपका तो पुनर्जन्म हो गया, you got a rebirth. तो अभी तो आपको 10 गुना ज़्यादा energy होना चाहिए, because your brain has been serviced so well. The big thing is, this person is actually chosen by people in the community to actually come and give a talk. And he has started a company. I gave the name of that company called AMI. In French, it also means friend. But AMI stands for Anand Modi Inspires. And the energy with which he's able to inspire, explain as to why you should move into a better society, a better living condition, is not only amongst those societies which are falling apart, housing societies, but also amongst slum dwellers. And it's great to see this leadership trait of his when he goes amongst the slum people. Obviously, he speaks to them in Hindi. And he's actually, with his energy, able to convince them that you need to have a better place to live. It's quite possible that he may be the builder, or it could be some other builder. But his energy has led to such kind of leadership from him that many other builders who are his competitors actually take him along and tell him, you convince them, because while we can give the logic, we can give the mathematics, we can give the financials, but we can't give the energy. We can't give the josh. And leaders have to show the josh, not artificially, genuinely. Because hosh is important, but josh, I think, is more important. Because that actually drives you, not only mentally, that hosh does, but emotionally, you are able to get driven if there is josh. And energy is an extremely important trait, which I believe good leaders have shown. Many a times a good leader, for fear of being ridiculed, for fear of being seen as a show person, a showman, for fear of being seen as someone who is blowing his own trumpet, tends to reduce the energy level, he or she, and tries to be, very staid and very mature, and does not be himself or herself. But I think that's a great loss. I have a simple question to ask you. People say, don't blow your own trumpet. So mera sawal hai, if you will not blow your own trumpet and put your ideas across, who else is going to blow your trumpet? If you are going to motivate people, if you are going to lead people, you need to have energy shown to them so that they can energetically come and participate and also join the entire campaign for whatever is the objective that you want to meet. So the second thing I want to share with you is the aspect of energy. Even in Uri, the movie, the guy regularly is asking, how's the Josh? And it's very, very important because you may be having skill, but skill is not enough. Mera brand mantra hai, you must have skill. That is important for a leader. But uske saath you must have will, Josh. Or skill or will ke saath, you should do it with dil. Skill, will, dil hoga, to energy aayega, josh aayega, aap lead kar sakenge. And leader वही होता है जो जोश से अपनी बात कर सकता है. So that's my second ABCD का point in terms of E. Let me come to the third one. And this is very funny. And we all face it. The leadership ka A, L-E, I have done A, is action. You'll say, what is so great about this point? So I'll give you a simple example. Stop screen. There is a gentleman who comes to, and I stay at Powai, so there is this hotel here called Renaissance, which they have rebranded in the last 3 months, and it's called Westin now. And it's all under the Marriott umbrella. So for the last 22 years, every morning, my wife and me go there for a swim. We members there. So that day at 6:30 in the morning, I found a person touching the water. And he looked around and he looked at me and he says, "Bahut thanda hai." So I said, "Haan, subah ko thanda hi hoga." He says, "Nahi, main dophar ko 12 baje aunga, jab thoda lukewarm ho jaye." I said, "Okay." So we go ahead, we did our swim, we came back, and as Kiran pointed out, that my first client starts off at 9 o'clock, so I was back in town from the client meeting. Then the next day I met him again. In the morning he was there. So I said, "फिर 12 बजे आए थे आप?" बोला, "मैं आया मगर तब तक बहुत गर्म हो गया." ऐसे फिर क्या किया आपने? बोला, "फिर मैंने बोला शाम को थोड़ा ठंडा हो जाता है तो आता." तो शाम को 6 बजे वापस गया, टच किया, वापस ठंडा हो गया. फिर मैंने निर्णय ले लिया, आई डिसाइडेड कि ये एक्शन अगर करना है, टू जंप इन द वाटर एंड टू लर्न स्विमिंग एंड स्विम, आई विल जंप इन द वाटर ओनली आफ्टर आई हैव लर्न स्विमिंग. बोला, शाबाश, तो हवा में स्विमिंग सीखेगा क्या? अरे, अनलेस यू टेक एन एक्शन, यू प्लंज इन, अनलेस यू जंप इन, sometimes you will get it right, sometimes you'll get it wrong. Obviously, it has not to be done without calculation or without thinking, but a thoughtful action should not be delayed. A thoughtful action should be gone ahead with, because there are two losses you can have if you delay. First loss is you could have a loss of opportunity because of delay. Second loss is a competitor could be in a position to have actually gone ahead and taken away that opportunity. So action is very, very important, in my opinion, for a leader to do. Every time to get scared, कि ये करूंगा तो लोग क्या कहेंगे, ये करूंगा तो फेल हो गया तो क्या होगा, ये करूंगा. You see, in many other countries, including now in India, you are not necessarily punished for failing. I think failing is less important or significant than not trying. So my brand mantra is stop crying and start trying. Action hona zaruri hai. Because action ke bina you cannot progress. I'm not saying mindless action. I'm not saying thoughtless action. सोच समझ के. But एक बार सोच समझ के आपने निर्णय ले लिया है, you have decided, now you need to act. And you need to act with impact. Otherwise, what will happen, instead of being a leader, you will be a person standing on one side of the road and always thinking, रोड क्रॉस करूं कि नहीं, क्रॉस किया तो ट्रक उड़ा देगा, गाड़ी उड़ा देगी. So all your life you'll be standing on one side of the road. Bhaiya, you have to take action. And in 10 actions that you have taken, it's quite possible that 2, 3 may get wrong. Correct it. I'm not saying tukka lagao. I'm saying thoughtful action. And 7, 8 may be correct. But can you imagine if in all those 10 instances you don't take action at all? It's a big loss. Not only to you as a leader, he or she, but also to the particular team, community, society, company that you were actually going to be able to serve or lead. I still meet a lot of people, and many of them told me, you see, at a very young age, I decided to take the risk of starting a brand marketing consultancy, the first one in the country. There were advertising agencies, there are PR agencies, there were sales promotion agencies, but there was no brand marketing strategy consultancy. So if one would say that, they say, "Wo kya hota hai? What is that?" Okay. And then so many people would dissuade me and say, "Kapoor, tum pagal hai. हर एक कंपनी में मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट होता है, तो मार्केटिंग कंसल्टेंट क्यों रखेगा? नहीं नहीं, ये तुम्हारा आइडिया फेल, कोई नहीं लेगा तुम्हारे को ब्रांड मार्केटिंग कंसल्टेंसी लेके आया, कुछ नहीं होने वाला." So the more they discouraged me, the more I got determined. Okay, I have to go ahead and do this action because I'm not going to die without taking this action. Then one person told me very nicely, "आपका सोच अच्छा है." I said, "Oh, thank God, one person agrees with me." But ये कभी करना पता है, जब आप रिटायर हो जाएंगे ना, तो तभी करना चाहिए आप. अभी इतना बढ़िया जॉब है, you're the director of a company, life is cushy, everything is cruising along. So I said, वही तो problem है. I am cruising along, but I want to take off. If I have to take off, I have first to come to the ground and then take off. So I am going to plunge and do it. The fact of the matter is, I don't know how many people said you will fail. Only simple logic reason, hey, marketing department to हर एक company. But then I am thinking, हर एक company में legal department होता है, तो lawyer के पास क्यों जाते हैं? हर एक company में finance department होता है, तो chartered accountant के पास क्यों जाते हैं? अरे यार, हर एक department, हर एक company में marketing department है, तो brand marketing consultant क्यों नहीं हो सकता? I even went one step further and thinking, which the sapna has not got over, कि वो annual report में लिखा जाता है, solicitors या lawyers का नाम लिखा जाता है, फिर your chartered accountant या auditors का नाम लिखा जाता है. कौन सा दिन आएगा जब कंपनी के एनुअल रिपोर्ट में पहले पेज पे ये लिखा जाएगा, ब्रांड मार्केटिंग कंसल्टेंट इज सो, अभी तक आया नहीं है, और किसी दिन वो भी तो वैल्यू देता है. सो एक्शन इज एन एक्सट्रीमली इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ अ लीडरशिप ट्रेट, एंड you may have a lot of dissuasion, but my belief is in more than one occasion, action has actually been beneficial rather than just waiting and putting haath pe haath dharke. The next thing I'd like to share with you, and this is something all of you agree, and all of you would definitely be in a position not to dispute, but I'd still like to bring this out, and you'll say, "ये कौन सा नया चीज बताया? ये तो हमारे को मालूम है." But I'd still like to tell you with a different perspective. Yeah, next. Let's come to the D part of it. Decisiveness. ये तो मालूम है. This is, everyone knows, every book writes it, every article writes it. But now let me explain to you. Many, many years ago, about 18 years ago, a set of people from Surat came to me. And I'm not talking about my decisiveness, I'm talking about the leadership that they gained by their decisiveness. Okay. The family is called Dholakia family from Surat. And this Dholakia family basically are into diamonds. So they came to me and said that we would like to build a diamond brand and a diamond business. So 4 people came, and those 4 people came and said कि हम डिसाइड नहीं कर पा रहे हैं कि हमें करना चाहिए कि नहीं करना चाहिए. हम loose diamond बेचते हैं. Loose diamond, you know, are sold in Pudis. There are two large buildings in Opera House, Panchratna, and another one, जहाँ पे hundreds of diamond merchants are there. And you sell diamond की Pudis में डाल के, and then they make jewelry out of it. They said, we'd like to launch a jewelry brand, but we can't decide. So we have come to you. People have said. So I said, what is your wish? He said, our wish is three things. First thing is, we would like to sell the most inferior quality diamonds. I said, why? He's saying, क्योंकि superior quality diamonds बहुत महंगा है, वो बिकेगा नहीं. मैं देख रहा हूं उनको, मेरी ऑफिस में आके ये बोल रहे हैं. I said, ठीक है, आपका second condition क्या है? बोला, second condition ये है कि बॉम्बे में लॉन्च नहीं करेंगे, मुंबई में लॉन्च नहीं करेंगे, छोटे छोटे टाउन में लॉन्च करेंगे कि उधर कंपटीशन नहीं है. I said, okay, which is your third condition? Third condition is, we will not give more than 90 days credit to the distributors and to the market. Up to that much we can give credit. I don't know what happened to me that day. So I told him, अभी मेरा भी आप तीन conditions सुन लो. पहला condition, I will not sell any inferior stuff. The best quality diamonds is what I will market. You know how to make them. So why the hell are you wanting to launch inferior? See, diamonds have grades. There is VVS, there is BS, there is SI. They wanted to launch SI. I said, why should you not launch VVS? Second thing, I will start from Mumbai only. This is the largest market in the country. Why are you going to go? Why are you scared? Third thing, this 90 days credit, I don't agree. So he said, I cannot give one single day more than 90 days. I said, but what I am recommending is something else. Bola, what? I said, I don't want to give a single day credit. I will sell everything on 100% advance payment. He's saying, 100 साल में कभी हुआ ही नहीं है diamond में कोई advance payment देता है. आप क्या बात कर रहे हो? I said, anyway, these are three conditions of mine. You have given your conditions. Now you decide and come. तो स्कूल में जब बच्चा होता है ना, अगर उसका झगड़ा होता है, तो बड़े भाई को बुलाता है. Now this person who came to me, Mr. घनश्याम भाई ढोलकिया, इसके तीन बड़े भाई थे. सूरत से तीन बड़े भाई को 15 दिन में लेके आया और 40 लोग लेके आया. So I have a training center. They were all sitting there. So the eldest brother, Savji bhai, he comes and tells me, क्या कपूर भाई, मेरा भाई बोलता है ये नहीं करने का, ये नहीं करने का, ये नहीं करने का. तुम बोलता है यही करने का, यही करने का, यही करने का. What is wrong with you? So I told him, he's a prospective client. He's going to pay me lakhs of rupees. I told him, what is wrong with you? ये सवाल पूछने के लिए आप सूरत से मेरे पास क्यों आए? फोन पे भी तो पूछ सकते थे. Then he smiled and he says, ने मेरे को देख लेगा था, कौन आदमी ऐसा बात करता है? तो I said, what do you think? This is a zoo or what? कि आप मेरे को देखने आए हैं? He said, नहीं सच्ची बताओ, क्यों बोला ऐसा? I said, because your brother is scared. वो बॉम्बे में लॉन्च करने के लिए, डिसाइड करने के लिए डरता है. वो एडवांस पेमेंट लेने के लिए डरता है. वो बेस्ट क्वालिटी बेचने के लिए डरता है. अरे गब्बर भी बोल के गया है, जो डर गया वो मर गया. अक्षय कुमार बोलता है, जो डर गया वो घर गया. जो डर गया वो क्या मार्केटिंग करेगा, क्या बिजनेस बढ़ाएगा? When you have the wherewithal to do it, just because you are scared, and worse, just because no one else does it, you should not do it. This is ridiculous. You won't believe it. They had a 15-minute discussion in Gujarati, in my office only. And then he took a decision. This gentleman's name is Savji Bhai Dholakia. He speaks in Hindi or Gujarati only. Okay. And this year, he got the Padma Bhushan. He is invited by IIM Ahmedabad to give lectures. He took a decision. And he told his brothers, I didn't understand, but in Gujarati, he told him, अखतरा कर ले. मेरे समझ में आया, खतरा कर लेते. तो बाद में 3 साल के बाद पता चला, he says, I am taking a decision and experiment. Let me share with you, because of that decision and going ahead, and till today he follows all of it. The only diamond guy who gets 100% advance from the market, sells at 30% higher price than the others, and does it full-fledged as per Sapsika. From zero we started. Today, his turnover is 18,000 crores. In fact, just 3 months ago, a 350 crore bungalow from Ruyas was bought on Worli by them. 42,000 square feet, 7th floor. But the guy took a decision and he stuck to that decision. So business leaders have to decide. And if you have to decide, you know there is a downside to it also. But he had the guts to decide and he went ahead and did it. So the important thing which we must be able to understand and why I want to tell you is you must have a jhalak also of those leaders. And you must get a jhalak also as to what kind of leaders these are, who in the business community, they are not heard of, they are not talked to. कोई 200-300 करोड़ का कंपनी है, उसके बारे में इकोनॉमिक टाइम्स में बहुत आर्टिकल आते हैं, उसके बारे में CNBC में इंटरव्यू होता है. The guy from zero is 18,000 crores and growing. Okay. Now the joke is 3 years later, all the bankers and international guys, about 4,000 people were there in Surat, and there's this function going on, annual function. Now he has to go up and speak. So someone from Citibank, someone from Standard Chartered is asking him, Savji bhai, where have you studied? So he was smiling. Oxford, Cambridge, Stanford, Harvard. He just smiled. Then he comes to me and he says, Kapoor bhai, ये लोग मेरे को पूछ रहे हैं, ऑक्सफोर्ड में मैंने पढ़ाई की है, स्टैनफोर्ड में पढ़ाई की है, मैं क्या बोलूं? I said, आप स्टेज पे जाके सच बोलो. बोला ठीक है, बोल दूं? बोला हाँ. So he goes on the stage, Savji bhai, and he says, मेरे को सब लोग पूछ रहे हैं कि मैंने किधर पढ़ा है, मगर अभी मैं सच बता देता. मेरे फादर है और 4 हम लोग भाई हैं. मैं एल्डेस्ट. मैंने शुरू किया एज अ पॉलिशर इन वन फैक्ट्री इन सूरत, मगर दिल में ये डिसीजन ले लिया था कि मेरे को बिजनेस को ग्रो कराना है. फिर मिल गए, कपूर मिल गया और हमने बिजनेस को ग्रो कराना. एक्चुअली जो पढ़ाई का है मैं बता देता हूं. मैं 3rd स्टैंडर्ड फेल है. हम लोग चारों भाई और पिताजी का सबका एजुकेशन ऐड करेगा ना तो ग्रेजुएट नहीं बनता है. मगर 4,000 करोड़ का धंधा खड़ा कर दिया अभी तक और भी आगे खड़ा करेगा. लैंग्वेज इज नॉट बैरियर. Literacy is not barrier. When you want to decide, can you see an opportunity? Do you have the guts and wherewithal to be able to take that risk? Yes, VUCA is going on. I know that. And many of you know that during the time of Corona, I don't know, I must have done 101 or 102 webinars. Everyone used to invite me because I started doing a webinar called No Rona during Corona. And how can you grow even during the worst of times? That is leadership. So decisiveness is a very important part. And Kamal, if you have that gentleman who's got the Padma Bhushan's 2-minute video, I'd like to share an actual leader live in flesh and blood for 2 minutes with you. And you can get an idea where the first few things that I've spoken about, how they come alive. Kamal, can you?
जी सर.
कि कपूर को जब भी देखा तभी हमने डिसाइड तो कर लिया कि मैंने अगली बार भी बोला था कि ये आदमी में कुछ दम तो दिखता है, चलो अखतरा तो कर ले. हम ढूंढते थे जब भी मार्केटिंग गुरु, तभी उसकी बात पे ऐसा लगा चलो अखतरा तो करने जैसा है, चलो देखते हैं. वो इतना कॉन्फिडेंस से बोलता है तो कुछ करके तो दिखाएगा ना. अपना क्या जाएगा, थोड़ा पैसा जाएगा, चलो ये तो हमारे पास था. तो सीक्रेट देखने के बाद पता चला सीक्रेट है क्या. सही में बताऊं तो सीक्रेट ही कपूर है. उसका जो विचार है, उसकी जो सोच है, उसकी जो रफ्तार है और चीज की जो दिशा है, वो जो सोचता है वो करता है, क्योंकि वो सही सोचता है और उसको शंका नहीं है. सभी पहले दिन एक आउटलेट हुआ था तभी भी उसको शंका नहीं थी. आज तो 1000 हो गया बंबई में, पूरे में तो इंडिया में तो 1800 हुआ. अभी तो उसको कोई रुकेगा नहीं. क्यों? कि उसकी सोच हुई है.
This gentleman is a Padma Bhushan. This gentleman is invited by Ahmedabad to give lectures in partly Kathiawadi and partly, and I'm sure many of you have heard that there is a Surat diamond merchant who gives cars and flats to his salespeople. This is the gentleman. Leadership requires decisiveness, and the right decision taken at the right time makes a lot of difference. A lot of others now come and meet him and say, "Kash, हमने भी किया होता." बोला, "वो किया होना चाहिए था, मैंने तो कर दिया." The next one is out of this ABCD is E, which is what I call ethos. Every leader has to have some core values, and those core values cannot be compromised. Stop screen. Core values are those which actually bring accountability. They are not only those which give responsibility. हम लोग सब मैनेजमेंट वाले हैं, हमने सब कुछ सुना है मैनेजमेंट में, authority without responsibility, responsibility without authority. We all know principles of management and everyone teaches, we are all. But आज जो मैं बात कर रहा हूँ ethos की, हिंदी में भी समझाऊं. Responsibility is जिम्मेवारी. Accountability is जवाबदारी. तो जब आप जिम्मेवारी लेते हैं, responsibility, I am responsible towards others, towards my customers, towards my clients, towards my consumers, towards my team. I am responsible for that. But accountability is where I am accountable to myself. And that is where the ethos comes. So every morning during the semester when I would drive from Powai, where I stay, to Jamnalal Bajaj before COVID and for so many years, my first lecture starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. Students curse me, "Itni jaldi kyun bulate ho?" But then what happens is every Saturday, I work in the market. Every Saturday, I do 40 outlets even today. So I have to finish it by 11 o'clock and then go to the market to complete my 40 outlets. So 8 to 9:30 is one lecture, MMS 1, and 9:30 to 11 is second, MMS 2. One is marketing management, one is brand. So every time from Powai when I'm driving, sometimes I take one driver, sometimes I take the other driver. So Worli में एक सिग्नल आता है, और वो सिग्नल जो है सुबह सुबह कोई ज्यादा लोग तो है ही नहीं, और सिग्नल शुरू होता है. तो सुबह सुबह जब सिग्नल आता है, एक ड्राइवर जो है रेड भी होएगा ना, वो आगे पीछे देखता है कोई है ही नहीं, वो सिग्नल तोड़ के निकल जाता है. और दूसरा ड्राइवर जो है, कोई नहीं भी होगा, रेड है तो रुकता है, वो नहीं. That second guy has got ethos. उसको जवाबदारी है, उसको अकाउंटेबिलिटी है. क्योंकि एक सोच क्या है, अरे कोई नहीं देख रहा है, कर लेते यार. दूसरा सोच है, कोई नहीं देख रहा मगर मैं तो देख रहा हूं ना खुद. So it's very important. You will be surprised in today's world, and even 28 years of consultancy, there are many clients who come to us and they say, "I'll pay your full fees, but I'll pay so much percentage in this and so much percentage that." वो black and white का nonsense. तो मैं उसको बोलता हूँ, देखो यार, मेरे पास फैक्ट्री तो है ही नहीं, मेरे माता पिता ने मेरे को पढ़ा लिखा के बड़ा बनाया. मेरे पास एक ही फैक्ट्री है, वो है मेरा दिमाग. वो आके तू चाट गया तो क्या रह जाएगा यार, काय को टेंशन देता है. मेरे को माफ कर, किसी और कंसल्टेंट को पकड़ ले, मैं तो सब कुछ ऑफिशियली करने वाला हूं. बिकॉज ऑफ दैट ethos, मैं बच गया. Only the right-minded guys come to me, and only the right-minded guys are taken. Last 5 years, and many of you would be getting also, I get the gold award from the CBDT, Central Board of Direct Taxes and Ministry of Finance, for having paid my taxes regularly. Last 2 years also started getting for GST. You get very, very good sleep, and your mind is fresh, and you are in a position because of that ethos to follow a path. There are many people who say that you have done a good job for us. We would like to give you a reward. We'd like to give you an incentive. We'd like to give you a commission. I don't take. I said, ये लालच में ना if I go away from my strategy, problem हो जाएगा. I said, आप लोग पैसा लेके आते हैं. अगर कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई, आपका पैसा चला जाएगा, पैसा वापस आएगा. मैं रेपुटेशन लेके आता हूँ. मेरे यहाँ कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई, तो रेपुटेशन गई, तो उसके बाद तो वापस आने वाला है. So we have equal stake, and not having a stake is a mistake. And that is an ethos which I believe a leader should have, whichever your principles are. But then you need to stick to that. The next one is you come across situations where, जैसे VUCA का बात किया, very important thing with Kiran ji and Dr. Kavita brought out. It was very difficult and tough times. Kamal, next slide. Very, very tough times during COVID. And that's where the leader has to come out with resilience. If the resilience is not there to face all the possible turbulences, then you cannot be a leader of good times. You have to be a leader of good times and bad times. You have to be a leader of easy times and difficult times. So I will tell you something which you will laugh. My daughter is a Fulbright fellow. She's a PhD from IIT Bombay, but not in engineering, in cognitive neuropsychology. So she practices. My son is a national award winner in intellectual property right. He has 16 American patents, and he basically has his own company. And from beginning, we have been in a position to bring them up in a particular manner that you have to be resilient. And tough times will come, but you have to be resilient. But it has also to be shown in example, because you can lead by example, as everyone says. So we'd gone to visit her in Boston, where she was doing her final part. And one day before the lockdown started, we just fortunately came back to the country. And the next day, lockdown started. The lockdown started, everything closed. So my wife told me, अभी तो आपका consultancy बंद, क्योंकि सब लोग तो आपके पास आते थे, कोई आने वाला नहीं है. कोविड में travel is मना है. You have to wear masks, you have to have RT-PCR. Society is also not allowing people to come in. तो office बंद, तो सब कुछ बंद. So that was the first day of the lockdown, having come back from Boston. So she is also resourceful. बोला यार ये बंदा idle बैठा है, इससे काम करवाते हैं, क्योंकि इसका consultancy तो कोई आने वाला नहीं है अभी. So first day she tried her luck, and she said, I will teach you how to use the washing machine. You must have sold many washing machines, but now you help me in, because no maid, no one allowed. So she tried her best. I made a mess of it. So she gave up. The next day she told me that, come on, let me explain to you how certain gadgets in the kitchen work. You help me in that, because there's no help now. That also I made a mess. The third day she gave up. She said, आपको जिंदगी में कुछ करना नहीं आता है except building brands. आप वही करो. So तीसरे दिन से मैंने सब क्लाइंट्स को वापस कांटेक्ट किया. मैंने बोला यार ऑफलाइन बंद हो गया, मगर ऑनलाइन तो शुरू हो सकता है ना. आप कंसल्टेंसी डिजिटल में लो ना. कंसल्टेंसी चाहिए ना आपको, तो उधर लेंगे. मगर टीम को भी उसको बोलो ज्वाइन कराने के लिए, फिर बाकी चीजें सब कुछ. And from there onward, Zoom started. Because of resilience, you won't believe it, during those 2 years, we actually added 23 more clients. You know why? Because the client would not have to travel from Kolkata or Delhi or Dubai or London and come to my office. Because being a lazy person, I don't go to anyone's office. They come across. And तो लोग बोले टिकट का पैसा बच गया, होटल का स्टे का पैसा बच गया. ये तो बहुत सिंपल चीज है. जूम मीटिंग लगाया और सब लोग का ट्रैवल का भी बच गया. So a lot of saving which is happening. So a lot of people came in. The second thing which happened in terms of resilience is that continuously regular meetings, no break, as if nothing has happened. Only thing is offline has become online. That's the only thing. Otherwise, we have to continue. The total we used to handle, 2,40,000 crores, custodian of all the brands and all the companies I used to handle before COVID. During the first year of COVID, because of resilience, we grew 65%. It went to 3,96,000. Then next year we grew 54%. And it's not my revenue that is growing, it's the client's revenue which is growing. Landed up with 6,10,000 crores that we are handling. The fact of the matter is, there were two types of companies because there were two types of leaders. One type of leader were resilient. I'll find a way of continuing doing my work and business. But the other type was, सब बंद हो गया. सब बंद हो गया, हम भी बंद हो जाते हैं. And it's great. I remember once at the club, I met 5 businessmen who were sitting in the next table. So they were having a drink. So first fellow tells the other guy, आपका धंधा कैसे चल रहा? बोला धंधा मंदा है. How's your business going? The second guy asked. Oh, it's down in the dumps. Third one asked the other guy. He says, we are in a bad shape. So all 5 of them talked about all the gloom, all the doom. You know, after that, what they did? Actually, all 5 were competitors in the same garment business, apparel exports. After they had decided and deciphered and determined that all 5 of us are down in the dumps, you know what they said? Great, let's have a drink. They are so happy that everyone is down. Arey Baba, why can't you have a thinking that if all is down, you can at least be up now? That is resilience. And that is what it is. They were so happy that sab log niche hai. Chalo, koi problem nahi. But that's an opportunity time. I do 40 outlets every Saturday. Now, I can't stop my habit. So kya kare? So my wife said, now you can't go out and do 40 outlets because the police will catch you. You're not allowed, etc., etc. This is the timing. I said no. So in Marathi, that thaili is called pishvi. I would take a pishvi, take a doctor's prescription in it, wear my mask, and go. If police would catch me, I'd say I've come to take medicines or I've come to buy groceries. Because all chemists and grocers were still open. So ये मत सोचो क्या बंद हो गया है. ये सोचो क्या खुला है. उसका तो फायदा उठाओ. So resilience is an important part in terms of a leader. And that is contagious because then your team also starts moving in that direction. Let's come to the next part. I have only 4 more things to share. Let's come to selflessness, right? Now, this is not some moral high ground I'm talking about. I'm talking about pure leadership in whether it be business leadership or any other leadership. Stop screen. What one means by selflessness is, it doesn't mean that you become a saint or you go to the Himalayas and start doing meditation. No, not all that. What I mean by selflessness is that for any business, organization, company, institution, to grow, it requires a good leader. There's no doubt. But that leader needs to have selflessness in the sense that he or she should be looking at the common objective. As long as you're looking at the common objective, everyone will come along with you that, hey, this guy is a selfless leader, and there won't be anything ascribed to you that there are some vested interests and there are some elements which are of doubt. So a common objective, once it's been decided and everyone moves towards that common objective, it really helps. It reduces arguments. It reduces doubts. My belief is when in doubt, it should be out. Because doubt is the most dangerous thing. Shanka sabse gadbad cheez hai. There are some people who have self-doubt. That is even worse. There are others whose profession is to put doubts in other people. तो इन लोगों से जरा आप दूर रहेंगे तो ज्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. Be selfless, moving towards one objective. That has helped me, and I have seen good leaders do that very, very well, and it makes great sense. Now, I am going to share with you something which is Dakyanusi. Dakyanusi means that it is very traditional. But why is it that I still consider it important? It is important because it is a core value of leaders. And all leaders who have done well consistently, not once in a while, have been in a position to be able to be honest to their work and profession. And therefore, the H part of leadership is honesty. Stop screaming. You know, yesterday was the birthday of one of the leaders in the film industry. It was the 80th birthday of Amitabh Bachchan. He's a leader in his own right. He's a leader in his own domain. At the age of 80, he's still working. Okay. And he's still there. He's gone through ups and downs. I remember once, I met him many times. Once when I met him, and I was at a management function, and he was to talk, and then I was to talk. And after his talk, normally as a star, he would say bye-bye and go away. He sat down. And he didn't go. So I'm looking at him embarrassed. So he's looking at me and saying in his own baritone voice, Professor Kapoor, I want to listen how to do brand building. I want to listen. I've just come through a very bad phase of bankruptcy. I want to listen. Plus, I also want to listen to you because which ads I should do, which ads I should not do. Because so many people come to me to do ads, but I have to have discretion. And chased English. And I said, fine. He settled himself down, heard the whole 1 hour lecture. Then he said, I want to meet you. We went in the Vice Chancellor's cabin, sat down. And then he started asking me, should I continue doing the Cadbury ad? I said, I think you should, because if you remember in that Cadbury ad, he would come in and tell them that there are no kidas and worms in that, because there was a time when Cadbury had gone through that. And then he was there and he was eating it himself. Then he said, should I do that pen ad? You know, there's an ad in which he writes and signs and pen and whatever the brand name is. He told me various ones, which is, there's only one brand which I told him, don't do the ad. At least don't do it for the next 2-3 years. So that was for a bank. So he said, why, Mr. Kapoor? I said, you have just gone bankrupt. And if you do an ad for a bank, tell me what will happen to that bank. So he started laughing. He said, I've understood, right? But that guy is a leader in his own field. And he has not stopped working because he does honest work. You know, if you ask anyone, whether for ad shooting or whether it's for film shooting, who is the one who is most punctual? Who is there on time, day in and day out? It is Amitabh Bachchan. And that particular honesty to his own profession and work actually takes him to a leadership position which very few have been able to attain. And he's in a position to be able, he got badly beaten in the big screen. He said, okay, let me go to the small screen. He went through ups and downs, but honest to his work is what has made him the leader in his field and will be remembered for years together. The other part is the second last part, the penultimate one, which is integrity. I have a different take on integrity. You'll say honest, integrity, same word I can. No, I have a different take on integrity. And I'd like to share with you. And this is the penultimate one, the second last one. It is made up of trust. Do your team members trust you? That's very, very important. Does your company, your customers, your consumers, your colleagues, the people who are working with you, under you, do they trust you? That's very, very important. And the question which comes is, कि ये situation में ये leader, ये बंदा, ये बंदी क्या करेगी? And usually people who have integrity and are trustworthy are very predictable. They may be boring, but they are very predictable. कि ये situation में ये बंदा ऐसे ही करने वाला है, ये leader ऐसे ही करने वाला है. He will not compromise, she will not compromise, will not deviate, even if there is a loss. But in this situation, this person is going to do this only. Many years ago, I decided that I will follow 3 principles. First principle in consultancy, I will be personally present in every meeting. Can you imagine? By putting that, I suddenly shrink my number of clients. Because every meeting, if I'm there are just 24 hours. I start early, but still, how many hours can you work? Second, you know why? Because I've seen that there's a need gap. People want personal attention. So, मैं joke करता हूँ client आता है, तो उनको बोलता हूँ कि अगर आपको 25% मेरा personal attention चाहिए तो extra charge नहीं. 50% personal attention चाहिए तो, so they say कितना extra charge? I said no extra charge. मगर अगर आपको 100% personal attention चाहिए तो, बोला हाँ कितना extra? बोला no extra charge. I am there every. I will have few clients. I'll have high-paying clients, but I will give personal attention. Second thing, no conflict of interest. If I'm doing diamonds, there are 1,000 other companies from diamonds who have come. No. If I have built a brand called École Mondiale, then only one IB school. If I'm doing toothpaste and soaps for a company, only that at a point of time. So, very difficult to prepare your own. So integrity, the take is, do people trust you? And similarly, when big brands are built and you have leadership brands, and now I'm talking about not human leadership, brand leadership, then usually those are those brands which are trusted. In COVID, the one brand which went right across and zoomed up was a simple brand called Amul, A-M-U-L. It was always available. It was always visible, whether Ramayana or Mahabharata. They said nothing has changed. लोगों को तो मक्खन खाना ही है, दूध पीना ही है, लस्सी पीनी है. We have to be available. They were there throughout. Therefore, it is a leader brand. So, if you are trusted, you are a good leader. And for that, you need to have integrity and you have to be in a position. The moment there is a distrust which comes in amongst your constituency, then that is the beginning of the end. But a lot of sacrifice has to be done. A lot of things have to be given up. And a lot of things have to be kept aside and said, "Theek hai, jayenge." But I am not going to break this particular trust which is there, gained after so many years. The last one is the P part of leadership, which is perseverance. Now, I'd like to give it in my own style. I have a simple module in Samsika, which I call the PIC module, P-I-C. You want to pick up yourself as a leader, your brand as a leader, your company as a leader. You want to be a thought leader, you want to be an action leader, whatever type of leader. I basically follow the invented Samsika PIC module. And that is the component of perseverance. P is persistence. You need to be persistent in your efforts. Persistent. You cannot give up. Okay? A lot of people will laugh at you. They will ridicule. I've gone through that in my life. Many have gone through it. Okay? But you have to be persistent in your efforts. Second, the I. Insistent for results. It's not that, you went to someone and said, yeah, okay, I'm insistent. You have to be insistent for results. And the last one, C, is you have to be consistent in your service and quality. Persistent, insistent, consistent. Then you get perseverance, then you get results. It's not easy. And now I'll share something which maybe not be known to my classmates also, Kiranji and Shaharji, but I'll share it with you. So when the placement was taking place in 1983, when I passed out from MMS, JBIMS, so there were many companies which would come in, we would go for interviews, etc. So I was shortlisted for the final interview by a company called Nestle. For that interview, I had to fly down to Delhi with another colleague of mine who later on joined Hindustan Unilever. His name was Ramesh Kumar. Okay. Throughout the trip, going and coming back, I was acting like his father because he was in a different mood altogether. So anyway, I brought him back safely and soundly. But at Nestle, in the Delhi interview, I'm telling them that, you see, I gave the interview, I have come to the final. Now the placement committee says that you have to attend the final, otherwise the institute's name will get spoiled. So I have come here, but I'm not interested in the Delhi job. I made a mistake. Please reject me. Okay. And I only want Bombay. So they said, then why did you? I said, because I have to appear for the interview because it's very, very important, etc. So, okay, we respect and all because the institute partners. There was another company called Ranbaxy, which was again Delhi based. There was a third company which selected me and another friend of mine, Pankaj, called Britannia. But suddenly after we got selected, Britannia decided to shift their headquarters to Bangalore. I had very clearly decided any company, but I am going to be in Mumbai. And therefore, I'm very happy and proud and honored to be the chief guest of Bombay Management Association because I'm dedicated to Bombay. Okay. So I said any company. So I came back and I missed out the interview that I wanted to go to. What Tata's was a company called Walters. Now, the other people were selected and I missed the final interview. Now, what do we do? Persistent, insistent, consistent. So I had a friend of mine, very close, Andy, who joined Levers. So both of us, we went and I sat opposite the vice president, HR's office, one Mr. Andy. So I went and told his secretary that we have come from Bajaj. They thought we have come from Bajaj company. So she asked for tea, coffee. We enjoyed the tea, coffee. Then he said, I just want to meet for 1 minute, the vice president, HR, Dr. Randeria. He had come from Britannia. So she said, okay, what should I say? What is your designation? She said, no, we are not come from Bajaj. We come from Jawaharlal Bajaj. I missed the interview. I just want a chance for an interview. Give me 1 minute to meet with the vice president just to get a request of giving a chance for the interview. She got so upset with me. She was also a Parsi lady. Then she went in and told the vice president. Vice president got upset. What is this nonsense? We have finished with this institute. Only I am Ahmedabad is left. So I told her that, okay, put me along with them. But I will feel bad if I didn't give the interview. It's not my fault. Same day interview happened. I had to go to Nestle. And you reject me. But I have to give that interview. Because I feel bad all my life that I didn't give the interview. Reject me, no problem. Then she said, he will not meet you. I said, why he will not meet? He has to come out from his cabin and go from here only. He's not going to fly. So I'm sitting. So we were sitting for 4.5 hours, my friend Andy and me, sitting, chatting, relaxing. And ultimately, the guy got fed up. He told his secretary, call. He said, what is it? So I said, I just want 1 minute. I said, this happened. I landed up for the final interview because the institute rules are such, I can't skip that. Now on the same day, on 16th of February, was Volta's interview. I'm keen to join. And I unfortunately missed it. So I just want you to give me a chance for an interview. And if I'm not suitable, reject me. So we have only one institute left. So it doesn't matter. You take along with me. And if I'm not good enough, you still reject me. But my 1 minute is over. Thank you very much. And I went up. And then we went gallivanting. We were out. I reached home at 10:30, 11 in the night. So my mom is telling me that someone had called up from Voltas. They want you to go to their Ballard Estate head office tomorrow at 10:30 for an interview. I said, what? I said, yeah. So the next day I went for the interview. The vice president marketing and the divisional manager interviewed me. They did a tough interview. I got selected. So you need to be insistent, irrespective of what happens. So persistent, insistent, consistent, that is perseverance. And without that, it can't happen. So ultimately, my sharing with you, and before we open up for questions, if there are any, is this last slide. That, in my opinion, is what I have learned in 40 years of leadership. And leadership doesn't start only when you finish, stop screen. Leadership doesn't start only when you finish your education or finish your MBA or you start joining corporate. You can start leadership from school. You can start leadership from college. Okay. And then those traits are with you. I used to be the school captain of my school. I was the general secretary of my college. But the leader should want to become and lead. Because at the end of the day, you need to lead. But be careful. Don't mislead. Thank you very much. Kiran, if there are any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Yeah, I think we'll have to have these questions quick because is there anyone who has a question to ask? I think there was one.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
It was wonderful listening to you.
Thank you, Ji.
You took us in a trance mode. For 1 hour, we were totally only looking at your visual effect and your ideas.
Thank you, Ji.
If day one is this, I don't know on the day last where we'll be. Okay, sir. Sir, any small few lines on silent leadership?
Basically, I don't believe in silent leadership because you will have to express yourself, whether verbally or through body language or through expression. It doesn't necessarily mean words. If you're meaning silent leadership, meaning words, right? Then I'm not talking about that. When I mean silent, I look at it at a broader sense because language can be verbal language, it can be body language, it can be actionable language, but you cannot be a bystander or you cannot be just sitting and seeing things happening. I remember we had a prime minister many years ago and he was an extremely intelligent person, but the prime minister, whenever someone would ask something, he would do an expression like this. Okay. And, but he was extremely intelligent. Some of the best progress took place during his time, no doubt. And then one day his son went and asked him that, should I get married? His son is still unmarried. Okay. So I believe that you need to have some language. It could be words, it could be body language, it could be expression, it could be gestures, it could be action. But what I mean to say is that it has to have some kind of signal given because only then you will be able to lead. Na? Otherwise, everyone will interpret in their own way or bole, which is very common in India. मैं तो ये समझा था, I thought so, and then it is the beginning of confusion. Yeah. Have I answered your question, sir?
Yes, yes. Communication is the key. Very true.
I think, Mr. Sanghvi, you missed the trumpet.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir, you're on mute. Kiran, sir, you're on mute.
Yeah. Is it? I was just saying that I think Mr. Sanghvi missed the trumpet part, which was very okay.
Yeah.
I think Kirti has a question. Kirti, would you like to unmute yourself and ask this quickly?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I really love that your enthu and your smiling face, and the way you detailed every of things very nicely. And some of, as Kiran mentioned this, I also been copy some of the good phrase. The hosh is important, but the hosh is important that rather of you having that Josh, stop trying, start trying. So I surely gonna quote this every whatever the social side I gonna have it and keep those things with to have a good leadership. My question is, as leader, how to manage and handle the conflict situations as a leader? So please light on this.
Sure. You see, basically, conflicts arise because of, and I have been guilty of that also. But conflicts arise usually because of two reasons. That's my experience. And whatever opinion I'm giving, you can use at your risk, but I'm giving you my opinion. Basically, there are two core reasons why conflicts arise. One is ahankar, which is maybe in English ego. And the second one is laziness, which is alaspan. अगर कोई दो दुश्मन हैं लीडरशिप के, वो आलसपन और अहंकार है, ईगो एंड लेजीनेस. Laziness to be able to go into the details of things, the depth of things, understand everything, see the other point of view, put your point of view forcefully forward, etc. And ahankar is not willing to listen only and having your own thoughts and saying, I'm always right, which sometimes in our younger age, we do that. But over a period of time, you realize that there's always someone else who could be having a better idea. And at the end of the day, if you're able to use that for the benefit of your team, it's good. So the important thing is that conflict could be avoided, by my experience, by trying to see if you can't avoid it, at least mitigate it, reduce it, these two elements which are there. The other thing is that how do you solve if conflict ho gaya hai, right? So how do you solve it? And basically, I think it is like a doctor. You have to go to the root cause. If the आपका दांत में प्रॉब्लम होता है, ऊपर ऊपर से करेंगे तो चलेगा नहीं, रूट कनाल करना पड़ता है ना. तो यू हैव टू गो टू द रूट कॉज. ओके, आपका प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है तो आपको हार्ट के अंदर जाके रूट में जाके आपको ठीक करके स्टेंट लगाना पड़ेगा. तो यू हैव टू गो टू द रूट कॉज, राइट? सो इफ यू डोंट गो टू द रूट कॉज, देन superficially trying to put a band-aid or do the patchwork is not going to last. तो अगर है तो मैं दो और ब्रांड मंत्र आपको बोल देता हूँ because you like to use them. One thing is relationships help avoid conflicts. Okay, one thing is very important. मेरा ब्रांड मंत्र है संबंध नहीं तो सब बंद. That is my first thing. वो अगर करेंगे तो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट का चांस बहुत बहुत कम हो जाता है. मैं नहीं बोलता इट totally can be removed. The other thing which is important is you have to reach out. Okay, many people preach out. आप भी बोलोगे अरे यार पिछले 1-1.5 घंटे से प्रीच कर रहा है वगैरह वगैरह. भाई आप लोग ने मेरे को इनवाइट किया तो मैं कर रहा हूँ. मगर more important than preach, you have to reach out. Okay, क्योंकि मेरा ब्रांड मंत्र है जो मिलता है वो खिलता है. So you have to be able to reach out, and many a times people reach out only when they have some work or some. तो वो दो चीज करेंगे तो conflict का chance कम हो जाता है because the other person is willing to listen with an open mind. You are willing to listen with an open mind. You may agree, you may disagree. That's a different matter, and there could be a disagreement, but that disagreement won't degenerate into a conflict because you can still leave on a pleasant note. That's the way I would put it across. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you so much, sir.
I'm getting motivated by Mr. Kapoor to say that whenever you have a conflict, take a pause and go to the cause.
अरे वाह, क्या बात है. किरण इसको जाके ट्रेडमार्क कॉपीराइट रजिस्टर करा लो, तेरा ओरिजिनल है.
वही तो मैंने पहले ही डिस्क्लेमर लगाया था ना. Okay, I think
I have one question. I'm Sachin Rele. Jagdeep ji, I have a question.
Sure.
The whole Indian mythology and the ways of sayings are always conflicting us since we are on conflict. You say that you never put all egg in one basket, and sometimes you say that or you focus on one thing. That's the conflict. So in this case, how do you address this? Because if you don't focus and at the same time you're saying that don't put all the eggs in one basket. So how does one address this concern? Conflict.
See, I will answer it in just 2 simple sentences. See, what ice cream do you like? Which flavor?
I like blackcurrant.
Correct. ठीक है ना? So supposing you like blackcurrant, someone likes strawberry, someone likes something else. और आपको हर वक्त खाली वनीला ही दिया जाए, then there is a problem, isn't it? You don't like that. Similarly, it has to be handled case by case. कहीं पे putting all eggs in one basket may be the correct way of doing it. कहीं पे focusing on a single thing may be the correct way of doing it. कहीं पे 20 साल पहले जो कर रहे थे वो उस वक्त के लिए सही था, मगर अभी जो कर रहे हैं उसके लिए relevant नहीं है. So basically, the answer is very, very simple in one word, which is relevance. If it is relevant to the times, relevant to the case, then That is the solution, because there cannot be a vanilla solution. And that's my answer to you, sir.
Perfect, sir. Perfect.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Kiran and Dr. Kavita and Rajesh ji and Chaya ji and Mani ji and all of you, Srinivas ji, and all of you wonderful leaders. Thank you for the honor to share my thoughts with you. And thank you for the patient hearing.
Thanks, Jagdeep, for being so patient and sharing such wonderful wisdom with. I'm sure all the participants who have joined in are already collected a fair share of their investment returns. And now, if you permit me, then I would like to actually invite Chaya Sehgal ma'am, who is the creator of this program in 2019. The whole concept from scratch to develop a program called Leader Next has been her initiative, her baby. So may I invite Madam Chaya Sehgal to come and give a brief on what you think this program can actually uh, be in terms of a takeaway for the participants.
I just want to say, how dare I be the one to give permission to Kiran Yadav or Chaya Sehgal? Arey Baba, aap log boss log ho yaar. Please go ahead. I would love to listen to Chaya.
Sure. Thank you. Yeah, Chaya.
Yeah, so let us take a pause and go to the cause now. Before you file it as an IPR, Kiran, and I'm going to address everybody by first name. I find it, very difficult to call my own classmates as G. So no Kiran ji, no Jagdeep ji for me. For me, it's you, Kiran. For me, it's you, Jagdeep. And I simply enjoyed the evening in your company. It's
thank you.
It was a great evening actually. After a long time, we got together, and Jagdeep, over these last 40 years since we have been together from the classrooms of JB, I see nothing really has changed about you. And it's really nice to see you, because
so then why don't you
talk about
then why don't you call me by the name that you used to call me in class?
Shall I?
Sure.
Shall I? All right. So we lovingly called him Jaggu Dada. So Jaggu Dada, we really enjoyed your company. In fact, this whole acronym that you gave for the leadership, in which you had honesty and integrity and the perseverance, it all came across so very much through your talk. And I'm sure the participants have enjoyed it a lot. Actually, the best part of leadership which you demonstrated over here is guiding, when the work becomes fun. If it funds, it gets done. You remember? This is how you actually put across all the concepts of leadership. And I'm so happy to have Kavita, Jagmohan, Shripad, and I saw Guru Raj, I saw Amitabh, all our faculties from the day one over here. It was wonderful to see. Srini sir, where are you? Are you there? It was very nice to have you also on the podium. And I recall when we put together this program, the vision was, I should be very fair in giving the credit where it is due. The vision was of Dr. Murtaza Khurakiwala. I was the vice president during his tenure. It was his vision to design a leadership development program with one of the top institutes of the country. And for me, I could think of JB, being a JB person, and otherwise also in Mumbai, I could not think of any other institute than JB. So I decided to have, to create a proposal with JB to be launched this program. And with Jagmohan, I think, and Kavita, we spent so many late evenings, brainstorming till 9 p.m. And then Guru Raj used to join us, and Shripad came in later on. And Kavita led it right through. I mean, it was Dr. Khurakiwala who visualized it. It was I who curated and put it together. And it was Kavita who led it operationally and has taken it where it is today. So thank you, Rajesh ji, for inviting me for this program and helping me go over those pleasant memories of doing something constructive and doing something useful. Those memories are always very, very pleasant. And I'm so happy to share them all with all of you. And it might have been my baby, but my baby has got now so many foster parents. And that is the crux of leadership, succession planning, having the leaders. Every year you have a new leader to take care of this baby. I think that's the beauty of actually designing something which promotes leadership. So when we designed it, it was, we referred to the World Economic Forum's the 10 top skills that it said it requires. And during the crisis, they nicely named it Leader Next, because now we don't have to re-question it again, because tomorrow never comes. So when we say Leader Next, it is appropriate for every year. Whatever happens, whether the pandemic comes or doesn't come, now the name and title will always remain good and useful, and also very well applicable for whatever is taught. This year, LinkedIn identified top 10 skills for the leaders to follow, of which 5 of them belong to sales and marketing. And let me just highlight those. One of them is sales, the second is sales management, the third is sales and marketing, fourth is marketing, and fifth is the business development. So how appropriate, therefore, it was to have invited you, Jagdeep, for sharing your brand mantras, because 5 of the skills that these participants need to spruce up and develop and also apply at their workplace after they pass out from this program are going to be related to sales and marketing. And I think the return on investment of all sales and marketing efforts are actually in measuring how much the brand equity has been generated by a business. So it was very nice. I think it was very appropriately decided to have you as a chief guest. So I did enjoy the talk. I'm sure the participants learned a lot. I'm wishing the program the very best, and I'm sure it will turn out to be better than earlier. And that is what is the journey of leadership, to make things better with every day, with every new day. So thank you very much. Once again, all the best to the participants. Maybe I will someday meet all the participants if we have one session, which could be physical either in JB or in BMA. And with that, I think I don't need to hold on to others anymore. We had a great session. Let us remember the acronym in addition to the PIC formula. That is all that I'm going to tell everybody.
Thank you.
So
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Now, may I request Jagmohan Rishi to actually share with the participants what is the likely journey that they're going to have over the next 4 months in this program that you have designed for.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kiranji. And once again, thank you all the leaders, the past presidents, and Jagdeep sir. Great. I must appreciate I was totally mesmerized. So एक ही thought आ रहा है, when you are a leader, रहो निडर. So you have rubbed that aspect now, and अभी ये चलता रहेगा sir. आपने जोत जला दी ये वाली. So that is what exactly will continue for next 4 months, of course, with the existing participants also. So all the participants of Leader Next, welcome once again. And as has been explained by Kavita ji regarding the core foundation program, we have divided this module of Leader Next into 3 core areas. One is the Ikigai, which is the people skills, and where in my core faculty, Mr. Shripad and Vajanti will be taking up the key sessions along with some more industry and academia leaders. At the same time, then there's a second one, which we call it core skills, wherein we'll be covering on the aspects of design thinking, cognitive flexibility, which is as per the needs of World Economic Forum and the LinkedIn, which has identified those skills. And the third aspect is we call it the digitalization, which is the aspect of it. We are not going to teach you coding and other aspects, but as a leader, how you can use the aspects of digitalization in your operations, and which will help you be successful and create a transparent and visible organization wherever in whichever domain you are. These are some of the aspects we have in such a celebrity speaker like Mr. Jagdeep. Could we invite others also so that more people can benefit? But in the next program, which is on 15th of October, we will be going in depth about it. In short, I can try to
Rishi, I think you've got cut off. Mr. Sripad Ranade, would you like to take over, because I think we've lost Rishi.
Let's wait for him to come back. But just in the meantime, I can mention that the three areas we are mixing them up. So we are not going to take you through, say, only the people development module first, followed by core skills, and then followed by digitalization. What we are saying in terms of the schedule is that you'll find yourself going in parallel across all of these three areas. And we are designed it in such a way that you will notice that they are connected to each other. So in the initial days, initial weeks, you'll find that you will go through the basics of people skills. You will go through the basics of core skills, and you'll go through the basics of digitalization, and then it will flow in parallel all three tracks across all the months. So that's the general design of the program, and in consonance to the theme that we are following, which Jagdeep sir, who has taught me while I was at campus. So I'll also contribute to that. The overall idea in this program is that you have to look inside. So we are going to do some work around personal visioning, some work around you as a leader and what your behavior is, what your emotional quotient is, and so on. We'll also try to look outside and understand what is going on around in the world and how you can be up to date. And then we are also going to understand how to look forward and how to be strategic in our thinking. And that is where, as Kavita ma'am said, we are going to have several of the people who come in as leaders. So we have a mix of faculty. One type of faculty we have is where leaders are coming in and sharing their leadership journeys. And the other is where we are having practitioners as well as academicians who are coming in and making sure that you have the right theoretical background, so that it is not only stories, nor is it only theory. You need both. So we are endeavoring to give you both. Kiranji, back to you.
Right. Rishi is back. So Rishi, so while you got disconnected, we had Sripad chip in to add a few points. So maybe you can take off back again.
I think perfect. Shripad, we know we are very transparent to each other and we fill up for each other. So we have very good understanding. I think he must have covered all those aspects which I would have wanted. Thanks, Shripad, for covering it. My only request will be that as Jagdeep ji was talking about, that this being an online session, please try to keep your cameras on. Because otherwise, the presenter will feel very bored and you will feel bored in the process. And this is one thing which we do it. And in the process, we will also try that in between, since majority of you are from Mumbai itself, we'll try to have offline sessions also in JBMS or in BMA, physical sessions. And more importantly, I must share with you that there will be some sessions which are from the stars, celebrity speakers like Mr. Kapoor is there. In the past, we have had Mr. Ashish Bhasin. He had come up. Mr. R. Gopalakrishnan had come up. So these are the speakers which we get an opportunity to interact. And not only that, you get personalized attention to ask questions with and interact with him. So this is something which is a great opportunity which BMA and JB brings to you. I think, sir, we will be having another session on 15th of October with the participants when the next session is there. Sir, Jagdeep Kapoor sir is the opening batsman here. Then, of course, the partner with him is Mr. Guru Raj, who will be taking up a session on digitalization. And we have two Guru Raj. I was getting mixed up over here. I think one of the participants is also Guru Raj here. And we have a faculty Guru Raj here accordingly.
So the session is full of gurus.
Gurus. The starting
of the. So okay.
I may just add that it started with the Guru of Guru. JK was our faculty. I am a 95 pass out of MMS. So thanks, JK, for that.
Okay, guys. Since we all follow timetable, I think we will take this. I think there's a lot of service which has been put on your plate today, and we don't want you to have indigestion from day one, because then you won't turn up on the 15th of October as Rishi expects all of you to be there. And I'm sure all of you have had enjoyed this session as much as each one of us has and noted all the takeaways. I am going to request our Secretary of BMA, Supriya Sajdev, to kindly put in our vote of thanks to all those who have been a part of this event. Supriya, are you there?
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
I'm very sorry. I will not be able to switch on the video right now. And I know it's not in accordance with the spirit that we are celebrating here today. But I would like to take this opportunity and thank each one of you for being a part of this inaugural session. My special thanks to Mr. Jagdeep Kapoor, to all our past presidents, to my current executive committee team. It has been a great start, a very inspiring talk, and I'm sure each participant will be looking forward to something really valuable. I mean, the way the course has been explained, the way it has been designed, there's a lot of learning, and I wish all the participants good luck, and I hope you enjoy this journey. So thank you all once again for being here.
Thank you very much.
Can all of us switch on our videos just for a quick photo session by the Secretariat? Andrila, Supriya ma'am, have we got that in?
You should smile also on the camera.
Yeah. Compulsory.
Done, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
wishing all of you a very good and pleasant night and looking forward to catching up again. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, Kapoor sir.
Thank you.
Once again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.